another episode of the Ty Brady Way. Today I have the pleasure of talking to Adam Reid. Adam, tell us a little bit about your background, kind of, what led you up to this point.
Yeah, I'm an educator by trade, and so I love being a teacher. I specifically love teaching high school students, and so for me, I've even helped set up and build high schools in Portland. So I've also been an entrepreneur on the side, and I've always had side businesses. I've had a roasting company, a coffee shop. I've had a burger restaurant for a little while.
Wow.
So it happened to be where I was actually in between my own personal businesses at the time, where I had just gotten out of a coffee business, and my parents had aged into Medicare. And I saw the nightmare that they were going through trying to decipher it all, figure it all out, and it was very confusing for them. And because my background was in educational policy, building high school programs, I've worked with the state, the federal government, the city, the county. I was actually able to grab the Medicare books from my parents, read through them, and I understood them.
Yeah.
And I remember my parents and even their friends, they were saying, well, this is awesome that you understand this stuff. Can you help us? And Diane, who was a really good friend of mine, who's also into this, she was telling me, she said, you should get going in this. You should do this. You're a teacher. You have all this time off. You have summers off. You would kill it. You would do really well. So at that point, she had been telling me that for years.
Yeah, she did. She's always like,
Yeah.
I can't remember how many times she would say, I got this guy. I've been trying to convince him to come on board, She's like, what do I need to tell him? I said, just be patient. There'll come a time. Yeah. And she kept saying, Ty, I really want him. And it's one of those things is Diane and I recruiting. We want to recruit talent. And we like to recruit talent, especially people that have a knack for it, like an educator like yourself. But I think she was trying to get you on board from day one.
Yeah. And because I didn't have any other businesses at the time, I thought, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and give this a try. So I did. I jumped into it, and I've loved it ever since. It's awesome, especially as a teacher and an educator, to be able to do this even on some evenings, to be able to do this on the weekends or extended weekends, to be able to do this on holidays or the time when I'm not teaching, and especially in the summertime. As an educator, I have a passion for it and I love it. The saddest part about it is the salary isn't that great.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, teachers aren't paid what they're worth.
Yeah.
And having this as a side hustle, if I can call it that, now it has more than tripled what I make as a teacher.
Yeah.
And so now I teach for the pure love of teaching, not even having to worry about that salary, which is really nice. And I'm able to set my family up for the future. We're able to hopefully build a house in the future, a vacation, do all the stuff that we do. And I'm not penny pinching on the teacher salary anymore. And that's what I love.
4 years later?
Yeah, I'm just under 800 now, 4
Wow.
years later. And that's part-time as a teacher.
Yeah.
I've never done this full-time.
Wow.
And that's what I do love about it, and I think it's really neat. And for me, especially because I have a family, I'm a father of twins, and I'm a teacher, so I have my program and my classes and everything that I'm doing, and then it's important to be really efficient. And that's what I've had to learn over these last 4 years is what tools and what techniques do I need to keep implementing so that I'm effective and efficient with the time that I spend doing this.
Some people, I think they say that automation, right? Is it something that you can be automated? Can it be automated? It can be to a point, but it needs to have a personal touch, and it is educating. I often say, I will relax, I will present, and I will sell. But it's not even selling, it's I will educate. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter to me what the consumer chooses. They need help, and they're confused about something. Not only that, but just understanding all of it. We spend every July going through all this testing just so we could certify to sell every year.
Right.
But that keeps us who we are. What would you tell somebody that is looking at this opportunity or wanting to make a change in their life? Let's say they're just at a dead-end job or they're on a teacher's salary and they realize they love teaching, but it just doesn't pay the bills.
Right.
What would you tell them?
I would tell them to just start dipping their toe into this. Just start moving and getting familiar with it, and they'll figure out where their groove is, and they'll figure out how they can do this best. And then once they figure out what their method is and what their way is, and it's a little bit of a trial and error at first.
Sure.
Then you could jump in and you could run with it. And for me, it was really the time off that I used that was key. So it was the summers, and it was even the extended weekends that teachers get, and the holidays when I would just hit it hard and run a lot of appointments that I could, and really build that base. And the nice thing is, if you spend 2 or 3 years of just hitting the pavement really, really hard with the renewals and with everything else which this business provides, which not a lot of other ones do, you can kind of sit back and coast more at that point. I wouldn't say to drop it by any means, but you've set yourself up now. After, I think it was my second year that I surpassed 6 figures in this.
Second year. I think Diane says 18 months.
Yeah, it was about 18 months.
She was trying to challenge you to do it in 14, I think. She was like, come on, you can do it. But I mean, amazing that you were able to do it in such a short period of time and part-time.
Yeah.
I mean, I did the same thing. It took me a little longer, a little over 2 years, but I did it part-time as well. I mean, I had to do the same thing. I was working 2 or 3 days, flipping it back and forth. And then I finally jumped in with both feet and went off to the, just took off and kept digging. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Well, and also to just jump in on our last conversation, what I would also tell any new agents is that they should definitely use the people and the tools that are at their fingertips. So I know for me, Diane and you were huge. You were mentors to me, and that's why I think I was able to do it part-time in 18 months. Because I wasn't shy about texting or calling up, hey, that appointment didn't go well, let's walk through it, tell me what I did wrong, what could I have done different, and what am I missing, or how can I do this better? And like Diane told me, learn the plans, know the strengths in each of them, know the weaknesses in each of them. And you would even tell me different strategies for meeting with people. And so I really want to encourage anybody out there, don't be shy, and you absolutely use whatever tools and whatever people are at your disposal that want to help you.
Good point. I've had agents, they'll call up and they said, I feel like I'm bugging you. I'm like, no, please bug me. Because I know if they're bugging me, and it's not bugging me, that I know they're working. And what they don't know is I've done hundreds of appointments, and I haven't seen it all, but there are things that I'm like, well, maybe you could have tried this, maybe you could have tried that. It's not that they did something wrong, and I think sometimes people don't want to, they just got rejected, first of all, and then I'm telling them, well, you should have tried this, you tried this. Well, I don't know that they necessarily want to hear it, but you're going to get better. I don't care if you missed the sell or not. Do I want you to get the sell? Sure. So let's talk about it. Let's do a debrief, and let's get you better. Because guess what? The next time you're going to make it happen, and the next time after that, and the next time after that. So if anybody's listening to this show, you're never bugging me. Please call. Adam, that is a great point. We're here. We want you to succeed and need you to succeed. I mean, so besides that, 5 years from now, where do you see yourself?
Yeah, 5 years from now, my next main goal is to get a nice plot of land out in the country and hopefully custom build our family's house with kids. And I bought this house back in 2008 that we live in now. And now that we have kids and we have a family, we're just seeing we're outgrowing it. Mm-hmm. So I hope to do that. And then I really just want to be able to set up my family and my kids' future, be able to have my kids go attend whatever colleges they want, or be able to do whatever future it is they want to do and not have finances get in the way.
Wow. It is, I talk about my 4 F's a lot. It's family, faith, free time, and financial freedom. And it's interesting when you have that financial freedom, and I'm in the process of, I want people to have the same. My mentor told me, he's like, I want you to have the RVs, the house, anything you want. And he's like, I know that you can do it. That's really what I wanted. I don't want to hold anyone back, and I don't need to hold anyone back. I want people to exceed what I've been able to do in a shorter period of time. I want people, if they're happy, I'm happy. Whatever level of success that is to them. Anything that you'd like to share, any stories, crazy stories in this industry that you'd like to share? And then the last one in closing is just any other thoughts you'd share.
I mean, when you talk about crazy stories, I don't know if you want me to scare people off or not.
I talked about the goat story. One of the craziest things I had happen is I'm sitting on this couch and I hear this meh, and I heard it a few times, and meh. I look over and there's a goat that had literally chewed its way through a house. and I could reach over and pet it from the couch, you know. So that was a crazy story of mine. So it was never seen that, but the goat was part of the family. It was right there next to you. Just reach your hand over, start petting.
I think one of the craziest stories I had was I went to go visit this person in their trailer, and I go in there and I sit on the futon, and this person that I'm supposed to be visiting with, he's on all fours and he has a machete, and he's just kind of waving it, not violently or anything, but he's just kind of waving it underneath the futon, like poking around.
As you're sitting on it?
As I'm sitting on the futon.
Okay.
And he wasn't swinging it violently or anything. He was just kind of putting it under there, poking it around.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to talk to him, and he's talking to me coherently, having a conversation. And after about 5 minutes, because he keeps poking this machete underneath the futon I'm sitting on, I had finally asked him, "Sir, can I help you?
Yeah.
Are you looking for something?" And he goes, "Well, my stepson and his girlfriend, they came in last night, and I know they're under here, and they're hiding from me. And I know they're here, and I'm going to find them, and I'm going to take care of them."
Wow.
And at that point, I realized, obviously, this person was not in the right mind.
Yes.
And so I just said, "You know what? I think you're good. I think everything's set up for you as it should be. I'm going to go."
Wow.
So that was probably the absolute craziest story I've ever had.
I had one story is I went and visited this guy, knocked on his door, and he opens the door, and immediately as he opened the door, this guy's like 6'6", 6'8", former basketball star. He just literally falls like a tree, just boom, hits the concrete, blood starts gushing out. You could see it from his head, and I'm trying to roll him over because I'm like, this is crazy. I mean, nothing braced him, just straight down to the concrete. And a neighbor across the street says, "Hey, do you need help?" And I said, "Yeah, I need help." And as soon as I did that, I was able to move him up a little bit and realized he had a big old gash above his eye on the one side because he was wearing glasses. And I said, "Hey, can we call an ambulance?" The guy's like, "No, don't call an ambulance." And I said, "I need to call your son. I need to call somebody." Well, I said, "Is there a family member?" He said, "Yeah, my son." I wouldn't leave until his son showed up to make sure he was safe, but he would not let me call the ambulance on him. To this day, he always calls me up. He's like, "Hey, this is your crazy client that passed out on the front porch." And I'm still a client to this day, but I tell you what, that is a scary thing when you see that. Head wounds are crazy bloody.
Yeah,
so,
definitely. Yeah, I've never had that happen.
Oh, I could go on and on with stories over the years. You know, machete one, that's a new one. I haven't heard that one before.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts you'd like to leave with the audience today here, Adam?
You know, I think I see a lot of people who start to get into this, and they want everything to be perfect. They want the stars to align. They feel like they need to get all loose ends tied up, whatever it may be. But I tell people, you just got to get out there and you just got to get moving. Yeah. And once you get out there and once you get moving, that's going to make all the difference. And you're honestly going to learn on the fly. And so something I've told a few other agents, I said, your goal today, whether it's on the phone, whether it's in person, is to actually go out and try and, if you end the day with 10 rejections, that's a success. So go for that. And it got rid of their fear of going out there and talking to people. And because when they racked up a rejection, they would actually text me like, "Hey, I got rejected again." Okay, awesome. And we'd celebrate that. Yeah. And, you know, we'd walk through it. We'd talk about it. But if their goal was to get 10 rejections, then they had actually more confidence, and they actually got a lot more successes by doing that. Yes. Which is kind of the ironic part of it.
Well, and I like to call those as wins, you know, turning a negative into a positive, because you are going to get rejected. And at first, you're going to get bloody. Mm-hmm. I say you're going to get bloody, you're going to get beat up. It's just the way it is. If you were to start a new business, if you were to do anything, it's going to happen. So get out there and get it done. Well, Adam, as always, thank you for all you do. You've been a tremendous success. I refer to you often with people I talk to. And thanks for being on the show today.
Yeah, thanks, Ty. Thank you for all that you do as well. I appreciate it.
And always share, like, and subscribe, and have a great day.
Thanks.